We're pleased to introduce Associate Professor Rob Phillips, Chairman and CEO of Uscom, to the Morgans Network. I'll just hand it straight over to Rob to provide a bit of background on the company and some of the products which are currently on the market.
Okay, thanks, Iain, and thanks very much for Morgans for having me on to present and give a little bit of background about Uscom. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, we're a Sydney-based biotechnology company specialising in cardiovascular and pulmonary devices. We've been around since about 2003, and in the last 4 or 5 years we've taken a fairly aggressive international strategy of acquisition and expansion and diversification. Over those last 4 years, I think we've effectively grown in the order of 40 to 60% CAGR in revenue and cash receipts. We are approaching profitability, and opportunities going forward look very good, and that's really the background of this presentation today. Obviously, I don't need a disclaimer. If you look, our mission is we're a leading innovator in cardiovascular and pulmonary medical devices, and we're developing technologies to address challenges of global disease and healthcare. Importantly, though, we're driven by a commercial ambition to become a leader in global health business. We aren't looking to develop a product and transact. We want to grow a real company, and that involves establishing real fundamentals and real operational strength. In the last 3 years, as I said, we've acquired PulseCore, which was a small New Zealand, New York vascular company. And then last year we acquired Thor Laboratories, which is a Hungarian manufacturer and respiratory device manufacturer of very high quality devices, but fairly poor access to global markets. These acquisitions were not random. My background is cardiovascular pulmonary physiology, and so I understand the importance of piecing together important parts of a product portfolio that will make sense to clinicians. Importantly, though, these are devices that will add real value both for investors and for the clinical environment. So we acquired 2 companies. They both had IP and product. And in the modern era, when regulatory cycles are so long, to actually be able to acquire these products that already had some regulatory approval and validation was really important. We've now got 2 products that we've taken from these companies, 2 product suites, BP Plus and Spirosonic, and we are preparing those now for global launch this year. So all of our current financials relate to our original Uscom product, and the opportunities really that are ahead are related to the new products we're about to release. If you look at our technologies, we are digital cardiovascular pulmonary. On the left you can see the digital ultrasound, which is the device that I developed through my work at University of Queensland in translational research. The suprasystolic oscillometry is central blood pressure, and it effectively measures blood pressure at the heart instead of at the arm, so that's much more important. And the digital transit time ultrasound spirosonic devices measure the respiration, so that tells us very accurately about asthma, COPD, and is a really useful tool for our Chinese application. Just a summary again, Uscom 1A is for fluid, sepsis and heart failure. The BP Plus is for hypertension and vascular health, and the Spirosonic is COPD and asthma. What's important about these devices is that, in summary, they address diseases which are responsible for somewhere around 70 to 80% of all the world's mortality. So it's a really substantial market that we're looking at, and our idea is to create high fidelity, high value, high margin products that we can feed into these territories. Importantly, of course, with all these things, it has to improve outcomes, and we've got a very strong scientific base that we think is a foundation for a strong financial base. Saving lives is very hard to put a price on, and keeping people out of hospital is increasingly becoming a driver for all international healthcare systems. Again, we address conditions, World Health criteria, very substantial numbers. Our results, so how are we doing? And I sort of reference our company's performance only since I've taken over as CEO, and we can see that the total revenue for this year was up 44% to nearly $3 million. Our receipts from customers was up 94% to $2.56 million. Our revenue over 3 years, compound average growth, is 43%. Cash receipts are up, CAGR for 3 years, 60%. And importantly, all the cash, equity and asset values in the company have continued to increase year on year. Now, while these numbers might be small, they were coming off a small base. Building the foundations and strength of the business takes time and it takes money. Always takes longer and costs more. But we are at the stage now where these results reflect all of the costs of both acquisition of the two new entities, as well as product development and preparation for marketing. So most of our costs are already reflected in our current financials. For current investors or prospective investors, the real opportunity is that we are releasing two new suites of product into the market this year. So it's a very exciting time for Uscom, and as far as we're concerned, we've invested in assets that we believe will bring to shareholders a reliable revenue stream for the decade ahead. Last year, 2006, revenue, sales, cash was increased. We acquired and consolidated and incorporated many of our one-off costs. One of the things that we did do, which I think is really important strategically, we've got a global distribution network that we work very hard with, was to partner with a major state-owned Chinese entity. And I think that's a transformational partnership for us. China's a difficult market. You need on-ground partnerships and you need people who know how the system works. Our partnership with CIIC Shanghai has the potential to absolutely transform Uscom, and we are looking forward at the moment to realising the full potential of that opportunity. But it certainly sets the platform for the release of our new devices into China and access to really serious revenue. So 2016, well, it was growing as planned. I'm very much a milestone-driven manager. I believe in fundamentals. I believe in milestones. I say what I'm going to do and I do it. And to date, that's what we've done. 2017, for 2017, I think it's really about our great brands, getting our brands out into the market. These are unrecognised value, and we hope to deliver those. We've got great products, real devices, real value, and real revenue. New markets, we're looking at tele-monitoring asthma and COPD. Many companies have software, but very few companies have front-end technology sensors. We specialise in front-end sensors, and we have our own software as well. So we think that the power in the whole telemetric big data revolution is going to be driven by sensors, not by software. Anybody at the University of New South Wales, given a couple of hours and a bit of guidance, can develop a software system that will provide health feedback. I think the real value is going to become how do we actually extract information from devices alone. Global distribution, we will be increasing global distribution. We now have centres in Sydney, London, Budapest, Los Angeles and Shanghai. And it's that platform or that foundation that will provide the operational integrity for the company going forward. Distribution is critical for us, and we've just come back from Medica and we've been demonstrating the new products, and we've got a remarkable number of very interested distributors from many regions around the world. So we're optimistic about translating the new technologies into real revenue over the next 12 months. The China partnership obviously is a very powerful driver for what we're doing. We have global manufacturing and approval. This alone is a very powerful and valuable tool. It accesses US, Chinese and European markets and supports our growing demand for products. Worldwide regulatory. Regulatory is an incredibly and increasingly complex domain. What it is a very powerful determinant or a barrier to entry. And if you have regulatory under control, then you have access to revenue. And we've devoted a lot of time in the last 3 or 4 years to develop a strong internal regulatory system and understanding of how Chinese, European and US regulatory pathways work. From our point of view, we are right in the middle of regulatory applications and approvals right now. While it's very difficult to put times on it when these will transpire or be granted, we are in the system and it goes as fast as the system can go. So we've got 3 product series, we've got 9 or 10 products, 9 new products, and we are looking on FDA, which is the American approvals, we are looking on CE, which is the European approvals, and we're looking for CFDA, which is the Chinese approvals. And all of them have various complexities and should be granted somewhere within the next month to the next 18 months. We've already got CE approval for the Spirosonic device, series of devices, and we're just about to submit those to FDA. And the BP Plus devices and the BP Plus reporter should be ready for submission in the next couple of weeks. So it's a very exciting time. As soon as those approvals come through, we already have distributors in place who are prepared to take those to the market. We are starting to sell, or we'll be starting to sell into research applications. There's some very exciting research coming out on the validity of these technologies, and they'll come out in the market in the next month or so that just confirm that we have powerful tools with clinical utility. So in summary, we've got 3 global brands. We've done the science, the R&D, the manufacture, the regulatory. We're up to marketing and revenue. And so from an investor's point of view, the spend, which is basically off-balance sheet value, is stored in the company as potential energy. And the revenue is the kinetic energy, or the flow, if you like, that we're working towards. So milestones really for 2017 are launching the devices, selling the devices, capitalising on the investments that we've made over the last 5 years, 4 years, and achieve profitability. That's a very powerful driver for it. And as a manager in the company, my responsibility is to convert investment into profit and value for shareholders and ultimately dividends. And that's where my direction's headed. So it's about fundamental values, fundamental performance. We've got some recent news. We've been given grants in Hungary, in Europe, to investigate cancer treatments, and there is a very sound scientific association with our devices and the ways that we measure and detect early lung cancer. And it's a very exciting area of research. And what it does is provide a platform for new technologies and new devices. The really good news, I think, for current investors is that we closed the year with record manufacturing. And, at the end of the day, we sell devices and we manufacture devices to sell and we manufacture to meet the market. And we closed the year with record manufacturing. Also, as a milestone, our Uscom 1A, which is our foundation product, we sold our 1,000th Uscom 1A. And that's a sort of an inflection point of scientific credibility, if you like. And from our point of view, people are using Uscom in a clinical way, and there are 1,000 of them out there in many areas all around the world. So we've acquired global assets to ensure reliable revenue growth and long-term profitability. That is our motto for 2017. Our strategy is to efficiently deliver the devices we've developed to global markets, and we want to establish a culture of profitable performance and future shareholder dividends. So I think that really sums up what we are as a company And our objective or description of what I'm doing this year is continuing to grow as planned.